What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Ooh, yeah. As you can see, I got another side by side.
There's this guy who just made it in the nick of time. Oh, yeah, introduce yourself, Nick. Dig it, yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Great to be back. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Excited to
hmm
get things caught up and get into it. So bring the
Yeah.
pain.
It's time to bring the pain. Yeah. Yeah. So like we were just catching up. We thought so we just decided to go live real quick and everything like that. So no, I mean, man, I mean, we had car inspections, we are doing this, we only had a tournament like 6 weeks ago, and now we have another one in a week. So it's been in the dojo, work, and then just getting things done like that. So, what about you?
Mostly just house, college, family, just
hmm
busy. You get things going on at the house, like stair on the deck broke. Oh, gotta fix that. It's just, and Zach with school. It's just like there's just
hmm
no time, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like some people go, well, hey, let's call each other, let's get together and stuff. And it's like, hey, I gotta figure out when I can do that because you never really know. Just things happen daily, like, and you can't control it, and it's nothing ever bad or major. Well, hopefully, I mean, yeah, like your deck falling and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
not good. But at the same time, you just go back into it and you're just like, man, it's just to get these things together. I mean, but now that you got a computer, it should be a lot easier for you. It should, I mean, you sound great, everything looks great. So, I mean, what led you to getting a computer or something like that? Were you thinking about doing podcasts or just trying to get something into it?
I was thinking about doing that a little bit. Me and the wife were thinking about doing like maybe a co-parenting podcast, or
hmm
I mean,
Okay.
I ain't stepping on your toes because you always bring the pain. But like a random podcast where you go on there and just let people like you do, like talk about whatever,
Yeah.
just to
Just
have,
shoot the shit pretty much.
yeah.
Just talk, just everyday life. I think sometimes that makes podcasts really relatable, which is why I love doing podcasts like this, having guests like you on, because this is your second time on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Number two. Yeah. And I'm definitely, happy to have you on. I mean, you're definitely one of my biggest supporters. You're always sharing and we're always talking, but it's always just, that we can go through an entire year talking, keeping up by just talking sports, by talking wrestling, by talking just staying connected like that. And I think that sometimes people need that in life.
Right. I mean, you got to have that personal connection. I mean, especially just like we were just saying, just the busyness of life. You got to have some kind of normalcy or make yourself go insane.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. I mean, it could be music, and we'll talk about music and stuff like that. But man, some of that normalcy. Speaking of which, man, free agency was wild, wasn't it, man?
Oh my God, I don't know. It's just been so crazy. I mean, that's one of the great things about the NFL and sports in general. It's like, okay, you end the season and you're like, all right, I might be comfortable with my team, I might not be. And
Yeah.
you drop players, pick up players, and you're like, this could be a game changer this year. You just never know.
Yeah, Burns was a big loss, but I do look at like the people that you guys have brought in. So you're sure and steady with Adam Thielen. You've got Deontay Johnson. I'm not going to knock Deontay Johnson. Honestly, for me, I've always been a Deontay Johnson lover. Yeah, they go, oh, he's going to drop those balls sometimes, but guess what? There's a lot he catches that you don't think normal receivers can catch. He clearly could ride the sidelines way better than George Pickens. So for me, that's a huge addition, especially for a young quarterback like Bryce.
Well, exactly. And I think that was part of our thing, like for before we got rid of McCaffrey. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we had DJ Moore. That
hmm
like we need some kind of help.
Yeah. And you were getting to the point where you had so much money invested in DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey that it was just at this point you kind of had to let it go so that you could grasp that money back and try to make a bigger, more solid, better across the board team. And that's what you guys kind of did. I mean, you still have Jonathan Mingo on there, Terrence Marshall, and it goes on. Your tight ends are kind of weak, and we're going to get to that too in the picks a little bit. But
Right.
Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas, solid, but not really good. You can't really really rely on them. But I mean, Schubert Hubbard, you still have Miles Sanders. It felt like you guys got rid of Miles Sanders.
He's a one-off kind of guy. Like he's there one week and then he's there, but he's not there. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
struggle with him at times.
Yeah, and I think honestly, bringing in Jonathan Brooks, I mean, and we'll get to that, of course. Bringing that in at least gives you that third back because anytime one of these guys goes down, it gets really thin behind there. I mean, you got Blackshear, Boone, and you do have Tariq Cohen, but nobody cares about these guys anymore. Like we need youth in that backfield and people that can actually block and stuff. So that's what Hubbard does for you as well too. And Sanders is good with that stuff. He's been used to that with Philly and and the blocking schemes that they had there. So, yeah, I mean, just adding all those people, but it was more than just on offense that you guys added. You guys added, you guys kept it kind of easy on defense as well. When I was looking at it. So Ashawn Robinson, I mean, he's like an old Ram, so I kind of know that how he plugs the middle. You guys still have Shy Tuttle in the middle, so you have a good defensive tackle move out. But man, getting Shaq Thompson back, bringing in Jadavion Clowney. Now you have Dane Jackson and you got Josie Jewell. Like people
I
are
know.
saying, like, dude, how'd you feel about that?
He was a dark horse. Like I about dropped when I seen that. I'm like, man, we must be planning things behind the scenes. But
Hey.
honestly, I mean, just the way the past couple of years have gone, you can really tell. I mean, you know me, I've been Panther fan since
Mm-hmm.
inception in '95. Like
Of course.
past
Yep.
couple of years, they lost the whole keep pounding mentality. Now
Mm-hmm.
they're getting it back with having Dan Morgan as GM, who was a previous player. I
Yeah.
think it's going to help out a lot, and having a younger coach.
I think it's going to be great. It's going to really work out. And you guys are a little deeper too. You did bring in Nick Scott to back up, so, you have Xavier Woods, you have Jordan Fuller. Those guys are solid. It's not the best. And I did see that you guys did draft a cornerback, but that's going to be one of the guys we're not really, I mean, we could talk about him, but we're going to talk about your big picks really quick here. But yeah, I mean, adding Jewel, I'm pretty sure when I did my IDP awards, he was in my top three. No, Singleton didn't make it. I think Jewel was still up there, but still to add somebody that's in the top 10 in IDP points for fantasy, showing that he's out there making tackles, which is what you guys needed. You guys needed that.
Right,
So
definitely.
that's it. So the NFL draft. Let's talk about the draft overall so far. Any surprises for you? What did you think about the Atlanta Falcons going for Michael Penix Jr.? Did you like it? Do you hate it like people think?
I don't know. I mean, I can see why Kirk Cousins is so butthurt because I mean they brought him in. They're like, yeah, that's our guy. That's our
Mm-hmm.
leader. Matt Ryan leaving. I
Mm-hmm.
can see why, but yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of speculative about that only because, you bring in a quarterback like that for the experience, and then you say, well, here's a guy that we could potentially take, but you got to think, too, that's one of those things.
Yeah,
When it goes down, you got to have someone.
I mean, a lot of people just want him to take a skill position like a Dunez or something like that. Like he would have been really nice, somebody that Cousins could use. But people got to remember, he's 36, man. He's coming off an injury. Like he's not going to be around forever. And Penix Jr. is not. He's a raw talent. He is not trained yet. He's going to need to sit for a year or two before he may even get a sniff, unless an injury happens and just things kind of fall into it. But man, we've seen some bad things happen. I mean, we had to watch Ritter for a couple of years there. So it's just at this point with that team, it's an insurance policy. I don't know if it was the right insurance policy, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it's always good to have, that kind of backup in a rookie that can be trainable in that aspect. But at the same time, like we just said, well,
Y-
when could Cousins go down? And then
Yeah.
you're throwing this guy to the wolves, like
Oh man, that'd be
that was
really
a smart
bad.
idea.
Yeah, because I mean, from what a lot of the tape tells you, and a lot of what the experts say and things and what they talk about is that he's really not like Justin Fields. He's still kind of like a step behind Justin Fields. So that just puts him in a worse position than Justin Fields. And if Justin Fields is in some eyes not in a good position, which I mean, I think he's all right. He can learn from Russell Wilson, but that's going back to what's going on with them. I just hey, for me is why do people think it's a like a kick to the nuts for Kirk Cousins. It's not. It's about the future. It's not about Cousins or anything like that. To hate this deal, to hate this move, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, you would think with Cousins and his experience, he'd be like, great, I can bring up an up and comer.
Hmm.
But I don't know. He's just too butthurt, man. Like, I get it. There's money involved, but money ain't everything.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I
your
agree.
experience and be glad you got somebody underneath you.
Yeah. Overall, hey, they'll work it.
Right.
So that's going to lead to, so overall, I mean, that is the draft. I was surprised Jared Verse fell to the Rams, and then the Rams came through with Fisk. So I was like, wow, we're just going for Florida State defensive line. Cool. And then, of course, bringing in Blake Corum, adding speed to the Kyron Williams. And we still have so many pieces there. We have Evans still. So the Rams are deep at running back, deep at
Yeah.
receiver, really thin at quarterback. Tight end, we're good. So I kind of like that kind of the way that the Rams went, where they just said, look, we're not going to find another Aaron Donald, but what we could find is two people that played together and maybe together can make it look like Aaron Donald's still on that field.
Right, right. Well, that's just it. I mean, you get that team mentality. They can band
Mm-hmm.
everybody together and be like, hey, this is the style we're used to. This is what works. Granted, college is different than the NFL. I get that, but
Right, right.
it'll
Shake and
help.
bake.
It'll help as far as the camaraderie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they definitely playing together, definitely had some moves that they exploited. And if they, with the Rams defensively, McVay and the defense staff can put that together, they can make these guys really good because what it ended up being, and it was kind of sad the last 2 years, people were just double and triple teaming Aaron Donald because there was nobody else to respect on the Rams and we couldn't get anybody in there. Now you kind of really have to respect what's coming up that middle. So
Exactly, exactly. And you're welcome for them picks anyway.
yeah, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for Fisk. That was awesome. That was the best part about it. It was like when we're sitting here watching this all go down and we're talking for a few minutes, and I'm like, man, your team is helping my team out, man. This is great. So, so let's get to it, man. The Carolina Panthers were like, look, we're out. We don't know what to do. You guys trade back in. You pick Xavier Leggett, right? You keeping him home, played for South Carolina. So this is a homeboy. You guys definitely got to see him in action. He got 71 receptions. He went for 1,255 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he can make a hell of a kick returner for you guys. Because again, with Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen around this rookie, I think there's no way that Leggett cannot become a beast as long as Young steps it up. How do you feel about the pick, brother?
I was very happy with that only because like I'm sitting there watching the board and I'm like, I of course research like we need wide receivers, we need tight ends, we need quarterbacks, we need,
Mm-hmm.
you know, defensive line. And I'm like, they pulled him up and traded up, and I'm like, wow, we
Okay.
are actually making moves. And then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I learned, well, you seen last year, all we had was Thielen, so he needed help too.
Yeah, yeah, that was bad. And that's really a lot of people again want to go back to Bryce, but it wasn't just him. It was the line wasn't good. And they once teams really caught on to Thielen and you guys' plays, Thielen got shut down practically. That made everybody else step up, and that was just that was horrible to watch.
That was bad. Like I think I maybe watched one game and I seen the way the offensive line was just crumbling. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not even no.
Yeah, and that's not good for a rookie to ever be behind either, man.
Oh,
It
exactly.
really it shoots them down. It literally destroys their morale. And they go, well, what happens to these guys? When you that's the thing about when you go, oh, well, we have the number one pick, or we're getting the Heisman Trophy winner, and then you get them, but then your team got that pick because they're a complete train wreck anyway. So
Right.
so adding somebody that needs to learn to a complete train wreck, it really doesn't really help. But you guys have addressed that very well so far, and we'll see what gets it on. But man, Leggett learning, adding that receiver, putting him back there. I mean, I love the idea of making him a returner. He can definitely do that. Take that next play off, bring out Thielen, run. any kind of play, and then bang, you bring him out for a second or a third down, and that's how he gets acclimated into the NFL, man. I can't wait to see this dude play.
I know, I know. I just hope a lot of people compare him to like Steve Smith Sr.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Taller than Steve Smith, but I'd like to see what he can do. It'll definitely be an asset for sure.
It's going to be good. So, moving along, you guys practically went after the best running back coming off an ACL injury. We're talking about 1,425 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, Jonathan Brooks. What do you think?
I was very surprised with that. That actually really surprised me because at first I'm like, what did we pick up a running back for?
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Yeah.
sat and thought about it, and then I read the article on what our coach and GM said. I said that makes total sense. I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely need the help at running back, and just like we said, it'll be nice to have him, even if he doesn't get in right away, at least
Mm-hmm.
one. And we definitely need learners for the team to start
Yeah.
that.
I honestly, I really thought this team was going to drop Hubbard, or that's why I said earlier in the podcast when I was like, it felt like this team dropped Miles Sanders, but they didn't, and he's just still on that roster. In the way that they used it, regardless of him finishing strong or having a couple decent games, they just didn't use him. So
No,
it's like you guys just don't really care so much about those two. So it looks like Carolina is looking for that next guy, the guy that's going to make that pop, somebody that needs to come back. But coming back from the ACL, I think this will be a year, gets to learn, and then they can work him into the offense, and then make that decision to let Miles Sanders go or keep him and with Brooks or Hubbard, or just get rid of Sanders and Hubbard together and give the reins to Brooks. Who knows, man? This is
yeah,
this could be fun.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be a teaching tool for sure to see what goes on.
It's so I'm down for it. And so what's funny is let's move along. So we're gonna go to the fourth overall pick, and it was his teammate in Texas, and it's Jatavion Sanders, a tight end. Now he's more of a pass catching tight end, somebody that can actually play. So in my opinion, I think he leapfrogs Tremble in a minute, man. How did you love this pick?
I love that pick only because I miss Olsen so much. We definitely need that tight end position back. We definitely need that short game, long game, versatile player.
I can't wait to get to the end, man. I cannot wait to get to the end because when we so just for the a lot of people know, we're gonna have a top three at the end, and one of them, and you just saying that right there got me all jacked out, man. Because like I have somebody else who can't just like they gotta wait. Everybody gotta wait for it. Okay. So yeah, I think it's good. And he was a five-star tight end. So it shows he has skills. It shows, and they said that he was more of like a goal line presence, which Tremble was not at all. So I
Right,
think that this is really, I also think too that, Leggett can still get in there, and that's where Thielen thrives. So in a lot of ways, Carolina allowed themselves so far with this draft players that can make an impact from the red zone right now.
right, and that's what we needed. That's why I was very surprised they're going back to the roots and starting from scratch.
Uh,
Finally.
yeah, finally. Now again, it's up to Young. If he messes it up, that's on him now. That's
Yeah,
on him.
he has no excuse now.
Go Sam Howell his ass. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So let's go. So overall, Panthers roster overlook. How do you like it, man? What do you
I'm
think?
happy with it. I'd like to see how it progresses through training camp. Um, that's one of the things that always disappoints me about the draft because we pick up these players, half of them don't even make it. But that's the mentality. You got to be a dog to keep your spot. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So,
That's
uh,
right.
I'm really interested to see how it goes, and I know you've seen a lot that they're thinking about changing preseason games and making the season longer.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
I
seen
think
that.
I think they should have just kept it at 4 preseason games because that gives teams more time to see what they got instead of just saying, here you go.
Yeah, give it a little more workout, but of course they want to make money, and they're not making money off the preseason games. So honestly, they're like, and those were most of the people are getting the injuries at. So They
True.
said just less to that and let's get the money out of it. If someone's going to get hurt, they're going to play that extra game and get hurt in that game.
Might as well be a game anyway because it's
Yeah,
like,
a game that means something. Really,
yeah.
yeah. Dude, speaking of which, man, did you see those? Did you see those Guardian caps that they authorized? That big like silicone looking thing put on top of the helmet, dude.
Since when did the NFL become Bubble Boy? I mean,
I,
you might as well put him in one of them big bubble suits and say, "Don't touch me."
that's exactly what I was talking about on my last podcast. It's like those where the guys get in the bubble suits and they run around kicking the soccer ball.
Yeah, it's like, come on, that just
I
defeats
just
the purpose of the sport.
dude, it just like look. So again, we're all for the safety, but I thought that they're developing the right technology in the helmet. Why do
And
we need to just put more stuff on top of the helmet? It seems like a little lot, and it's going to weigh the helmet down a little more. Those things cannot be that light.
no, definitely not.
I
Definitely.
mean, it's gotta, I mean, and people like to sing to think about. So this is what I was thinking too, is that adds ounces to your neck. Neck is vulnerable. That's not added like when you wear weighted shoes and you're like, my calves are gonna get bigger, my legs are gonna get bigger, I'm gonna get faster. Oh, that's great, but your neck doesn't. You're adding more weight to a neck. I mean, if you're gonna put that on, you better get that big neck roll like freaking Mike Allstott from back in the
Yeah,
day.
exactly, exactly. Like, and half of them too. I mean, a lot of players now have the longer hair, so it's like you're
Mhm.
already squishing in that little helmet, and then you want
Yeah, it just
whatever.
I was, yeah, just keep making the helmet bigger, man. Like I
Yeah,
said, it'll be like Dark Helmet, man. They'll run it. You'll run a running back up the middle. It'll sound like a pinball game. Ding, 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 ding.
yeah, that's about right too.
They're just gonna be bouncing around. Man, it's crazy, man. So, let's flip it a little bit. Let's get over to hockey talk, man. It makes sense that you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan. Your team did not get the job done with the Islanders today, man. But man,
Uh,
they were fighting, dude.
it was it made me nervous because it's been a fight. Like I thought the series would have been a clean sweep. Um,
Okay. I
but
mean, you have a good team. Carolina is amazing.
Islanders fight back. I
Yeah.
mean, you have heart. They haven't been in a long time, so I
Hmm.
get that mentality just like the others do.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But
You guys are going home. You guys are going to bounce them. It's done.
yeah,
There's just no way.
coming back to Carolina, it's done. I think
Yeah.
we want to do it in front of our fans, is what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. The Kings got kind of punked, man. I mean, Edmonton meeting them 3 times, man, just too much. It's like you're always meeting like Connor McDavid, how much I love him for being an Erie Otter. It's like my nightmare as an LA King fan. I'm
Right.
sitting here like watching him just and his team in Drysdale, and just the team is stacked. And the Kings made no moves. That's what worried me. When I did a couple podcasts, I did one with Kick and I did another one with Alex, the messenger from the VGM Journey
Right.
podcast. I when I we talked straight hockey. Those 2 days of hockey I talked, and man, I could not get over the fact that like the pieces Carolina added, but then at the same time the Kings doing nothing, which we had a good team, but now it's starting to show. We got whooped last night in LA going back after getting up on them in game 2 in Edmonton, and then now we're down 2-1, man.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to even it up and then just take it, but
Mm-hmm.
seems like the longer you guys go against McDavid, that you're tired. You're tired
Yeah,
of out, man.
yeah. I mean, 6-1, man. Come on. It just takes too much out of a team to beat them. That's why Edmonton is a good team. I mean, I'm not gonna take nothing from them. That's a solid team. People sleeping on them right now.
Yeah,
Phew.
definitely.
Man, hockey, man. So let's flip along. Let's talk about some music and concerts and things like that, man. So you got any plans for any concerts coming up? You got some tickets? Any ideas?
Um, I was thinking about going to In This Moment, always because I see
Mhm.
when they started out at Ozfest before they were even a big thing. I mentioned that on my last podcast I was on with you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, it's kind of really out there this year. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of ho hum. I mean, you know how we get concerts here. It's either country or
Yeah.
drop. So
or
it's like,
something like you're not going to probably want to go to, and you're not going to want to pay the price of 80, 90, or 100, even if there's a $40 ticket. It's really not going to be the same experience when you're all the way up there. I mean, sometimes, bleacher seats are cool, but it's just not always fun to go to some of those concerts sometimes and just be like, I mean, we have a beautiful arena. You
right,
have a great, like last time, at the WWE event, me and Molly, we just ran up there and we just grabbed, we went up to the club seats. And then eventually we moved down to two other seats that was wide open.
right.
And we had a great time at the event and it was fun. So yeah, but they're a little more strict with concerts. So if you have a floor, ticket, or if there's a floor seat, or if it's wide open, depending on what it is, they really do check those tickets during those events. And it sucks because those are the ones that cost a little bit.
Right, right. Yeah, well, that too. I mean, you got to think, yeah, it's great to see bands that you like, but
Mhm.
it's almost like going to the zoo. You see it once, it's not really going to be any different the next time you see them. So why spend the money?
Mhm. Yeah. When I was pricing out for payback for in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
we were looking at that, and the tickets in Pittsburgh were as much as a double ticket to Smackdown and to SummerSlam the next day in Cleveland. And I was
Oh,
like, dude, I was like gonna get these tickets, and I'm like, that it was just like a little more, but you got the same seat for both nights. And I'm
right.
like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's exorbitant. It's crazy anymore. It's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you do got to shop for the right thing. But how we did it was there was two seats. There were $10 in difference, but they were literally the only two seats that were not being resold at a higher price. And we got them, so the way it was pretty high up there.
Yeah,
So what happened was is me and Molly went down, and she, of course, her best friend, and her parents were there. So what happened was is he goes, the dad Dan, he goes, hey, let's just go out. We'll go sit up there. So, and we'll let the ladies sit down here because there were some like teenage girls sitting behind him, and it was like about to be a whole teenage kind of girl moment,
yeah,
and it's a pay-per-view. So,
right,
it's about to get wild. So what ended up happening was I actually went on the app and I was looking at seats that were still open for sale right before the lock happened. And I saw that these people had not sold these seats right next to like the entrance. So of
right.
course, I mean, if I know you may have caught my payback entrance, dude, literally they were right there coming out. Like those pictures were amazing. And me and Dan had a crazy
Yeah.
time, man. We were drinking some beers. Wrestlers were like 20 feet away from us. The heat was right there when Cody came out. It was just
Yeah,
amazing, man. I was like, whoa.
that's a once in a lifetime experience, man. You gotta,
Yeah, it was great, but man, now SummerSlam in Cleveland, it's just crazy, dude. So yeah, it's just, wrestling, and just you see, how big into wrestling we are and everything. So heck yeah.
speaking of that, I know we really didn't have that covered. What do you think about the draft for WWE and Roman
Oh,
saying,
so far I
"Oh,
think it's
I'm
good.
out."
Hey, Roman, that was what he's gonna do anyway right now. But I like it. I like it. I like the move. We're gonna see the rosters. Practically most of it stayed the same, but to bring Braun Breaker to Raw and to bring Carmelo Hayes to SmackDown, that just really adds that flair. So I'm ready for the new switch up, the new storylines that they can create from this, and to see
Yep.
the direction. They have a couple injuries they got to deal with, so they got to deal with it, right?
It'll be interesting. It'll be nice to
Yeah.
have
So
actual wrestling.
you listening to any new music right now or no?
Not really. I don't know if you noticed, I did share on my Facebook. Five Finger Death Punch just brought out their
Oh
Afterlife
yeah.
and they did a collab with DMX.
Hi, yep, I seen it.
Finally released it. That is hot.
Yeah, that's why I kind of had the music part highlighted because I'd seen all that going on and I knew that that was a big thing for you and that you love Five Finger Death Punch. So I just was like, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna not talk about it with you because I know you love them, and that just the whole thing to come out, man,
Yeah.
amazing.
We the last time, when was it? Last year for my birthday, we went to Vegas because my wife's from Vegas.
Hmm.
And she actually got me tickets. I finally got to see Tommy Vext.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Great,
remember that too.
nice little venue. Like
Yep.
I was right up front. talk about a show, man. I mean, for being doing his own thing, it was great. It
All
was
right.
great.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's good to see things like that and just to be able to do things like that. But here it is. We're about we're getting to the end here. So now it's time. It's time to do the top three inspirational or best Carolina Panthers ever. I'm gonna give my three straight from the go, and then we're gonna talk about yours. I'm gonna do an honorable mention, and then we're gonna get into it. So I think Steve Smith, Christian McCaffrey. Now Christian McCaffrey is debatable, and Sam Mills. Of course, Sam Mills are definitely my favorite three Panthers ever.
Right.
And I honorable mention, I put Wesley Walls, but it's hard with Greg Olsen too. I mean, Greg Olsen was the better of the two tight ends, but man, Wesley Walls back in the day, whoo,
Yeah, yeah, he was great.
he's good. So, what are your three? What three Panthers have always inspired you?
Believe it or not, I'd have to say quarterback wise, Kerry Collins.
Yeah,
We got
okay,
him when he was in his prime. He was
yep,
great.
came from the
Um,
Giants.
yep, yep. And then he just fell off from there. Steve Smith, of course, just because
Oh
he
yeah,
he had your kind of attitude. Ice
yep,
up, son, bring the pain.
yeah.
Like
Bring
nobody
the
can match him. Nobody.
Yeah, dude. No, no, dude. I mean, in that playoff game where, dude, you guys lined up against us, and I was like, come on, we just gotta do it. And they literally just bombed it to Steve Smith Sr., and he was gone for the touchdown, the walk-off touchdown. And I'm like, well, damn, Rams, why you gotta let that man go like that? And he was eating us up that game too. I want to say he might have like 200 yards that game if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah. He didn't have he was up there for that game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, after that last catch, he definitely probably had 200 because he was gone. I
He
was like
was
80-yard goal.
third, yeah, Greg Olson. Only because he's no, I take that back. I'm gonna take that back. I'll put Olson as my honorable mention.
Okay.
Keekly.
Keekly.
I'm
Oh,
just Keekly so freaking bad, man. He was the beast.
yeah. See, that's why that you see. So that would be like where I would take Christian. I was like Christian McCaffrey. Keekly would actually be in there over Christian McCaffrey. Honestly.
Right.
See, that's
McCaffrey, I mean, yeah, he was good. And like we said, it just got to the point where it's like, I know you're good.
yeah.
We can't give you nothing. Go play where you can do something.
Yep, yep.
So,
And but you're 100% correct. If you think about it, like the people that we just all talked about mentioned everything. We didn't have to talk about Jake Delhomme. We don't need to talk about that guy. I mean, who cares about him? The players that and like you said about Kerry Collins, it was nice to have him come in, but they didn't do what Keekly, they didn't do what Sam Mills, they didn't do what Steve Smith Sr. did. They didn't do what Greg Olson did. They didn't do what Wesley Walls did. Those guys right there are literally the face of the Carolina Panthers.
definitely. Sam Mills
Yeah.
goes down in history. I went and seen, his bust and all his stuff at the Hall of Fame, and it was just like,
Yeah.
finally, one of us made it. I'm hoping we get more in there soon, but we'll see.
I think Steve Smith Sr. should definitely get in there. They're gonna have to get him in there. And I think Keekly will get in there too. There's no reason not to. Like,
Right.
the he was dominant at what he did for all those years, and then he walked away when he wanted to. You know, it for me, that's the way a lot of people want to choose to walk away. Kind of like what Aaron Donald did. He was like 10 and I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. I'm getting slower. These guys are bigger, stronger. I've won my Super Bowl. I'm 1-1 Super Bowls. At this point, I've got really nothing left to prove. I was the best at my position for those 10 years. I was dominant. I made offenses game plan against me. And it
Right.
just the way it was, man.
Well, you got to figure too, with the positions that they played, they almost had no choice because about time they'd be coming out handicapped at some point because they were
Exactly.
just that good.
Yeah. And that's they couldn't even load. And that's why, like when you see the end of that Super Bowl and that it was like the last play and you knew Chase was going to go long. And I was scared because I knew Jalen Ramsey was going to be over there, and that dude had been falling during the game. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. No. And I seen that first step, and I seen Aaron Donald take that turn. And I'm like, whatever happens, Burrow is under duress. He is going to get hit. Whether he completes this pass, it beats my team, or whatever happens, it's going to happen right now. And he got it. It was a lame duck throw. Nothing happened. No penalties. Rams win the Super Bowl, man. And that's
Yep.
it. So what do you think your record's going to be? I mean, I know it's kind of hard. Do you think you're going to be near 500 with this team?
I would like to hope so. I mean, anything better than the past 6 seasons would be good. But I'd like to see us, even if we don't, I mean, I don't expect obviously to go to Super Bowl straight out the gate. But
Yeah.
at least if we can make first round of playoffs, I'd be happy. But just to
Yeah.
finish over 500 would be a good start.
Yeah, and that division sucks anyway. Like, yeah, I know you guys got Cousins in there now, and the Saints, who cares? Yeah, Tampa. You guys can really mess around in that division. I mean, Tampa's tough, but like there's not really a lot of defense. Like I'd say probably the Saints more so have the best defense in the division because they have the
Right.
best players. But that whole division is it's the NASCAR division. It's what they call it.
Yeah, yeah, you just never know.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. All right, man. It was great to have you on, catch up, and talk to you. Again, I want to thank you so much for what you do for Bring the Pain. That's why I make sure, again, just in more than actually keeping in touch with you and doing all that. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you, Nick. You are truly a good hero, and you will always bring the pain because you are a true pain bigger, my brother.
Always bring that pain, baby. Bring that pain.
Woo! Let's see how them Carolina Panthers do. And it ain't gonna be no year and 5, 16 months. Let's go. We'll have more podcasts, man. I got you.
All right, bro.
All right. Have a great day, man. Thank you.
You too. Catch you later.
All right. Peace.